Welcome back, everyone. As we get older, our skin begins to thin. Often our hands have an aged appearance, but there are some things you can do to rejuvenate your hands and restore that volume. Dr. Ronald Downs from the Center PC joins us this morning with part 2 of our Health and Beauty Breakdowns. And, Doctor, it's been something that I think concerns a lot of people. They worry so much about their face and wrinkles, they forget their hands, and that's where you can show age.
Absolutely one of the first places we look. And, not only does our skin thin out, but also that subcutaneous, that little fat layer under the skin gets worse as well. It thins out. So one of the ways we can rejuvenate the hand is by restoring that volume in there. There's injectable filler materials that we can actually inject underneath the skin in the deep layers that will help plump that skin up and make our hands look more youthful.
What is one of the fillers called? One of the most popular uses?
Well, the most popular one is Restylane. Restylane is a brand name for a substance called hyaluronic acid, which is a long word, but it's a gelatinous material, very common to our bodies. It's very easily injectable. It's a clear gel, and it can be injected in our hands to plump up the hands. Now, the problem with that is it's temporary. Only lasts about 6 to 9 months, but it's easily injectable and it's relatively pain-free.
Well, and you would plan ahead. Maybe you would know if
Correct.
This is a certain time that you're going to be having your hands very visible, or you're using that.
You would plan maintenance treatments. There's also longer-lasting filler materials like a crystalline injectable called hydroxyapatite crystals. It's a little bit different in the sense that it's white in color, so we have to be a little more careful with it, but it lasts about 2 to 3 years. And then, of course, we use the old standby, which is fat injections, which makes perfect sense because if your fat is atrophying or shrinking in your hands, restore the fat.
And you can use it from other parts of your body.
Yeah, a lot of people like that as well because we can borrow it from parts of our body and put it in our hands. It's treated. Now, it's a little bit more of a complicated procedure. It requires the use of a donor site, and it's, there's some more bruising and swelling involved with that. So the downtime's a little bit more, but it lasts a much longer time. Can't say it's permanent, but it lasts. And then there's those really big, pesky hand veins that most of us, that's one of the telltales. And getting rid of those is really a challenge, but it helps really rejuvenate our hands.
That is something that you got to consider because that's something you see is the bulging veins.
Right.
What do you do?
Well, just like in our legs, we can inject them. It's called sclerotherapy. We inject a type of solution. It can either be salt solution or other types that actually just irritates the inside of the vein. They collapse, become much smaller, much less visible. Newer technologies such as laser on the external aspects of those veins can also shrink them down to a large degree. And then really exciting is what we call endovascular technology, where we can put a small filament inside the vein and actually use radiofrequency or laser to get it from the inside. So there's very little downtime at all. It's very successful. It works beautifully.
We want to show some pictures of some of the therapies that you've mentioned. Yeah. We have some before and after. Now, what is this? This is a picture of what? Is this the Restylane?
This is the Restylane. It's a filler material that we can inject, and we actually, as you can see on the left-hand side, the before picture, as we thin out, you can see the bones and the knuckles in the hand, and as we plump the skin up, that becomes much less visible, much more youthful looking in terms of the hands.
And we have another picture here. What's this?
Again, injectable filler materials before and afters in the hands, showing much better youthful looking hands in appearance. So these are very
dramatic,
doable results.
Without looking like you've injured yourself or, swelling or anything like that.
There can be some bruising and a little bit of swelling after the injections, but it's minimal.
Yeah.
And these treatments can cost, the injectables can cost anywhere from $450 to $900 depending upon how much we're going to use and the type of injectable. And remember, that's a one-time cost, so you have to pay that each time the treatment is rendered. And of course, the laser treatments can be a little bit more expensive than that, ranging in maybe $1,500 to $2,000, depending upon which one of those we use.
Okay, certainly something to consider. Dr. Downs, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.